Hey YouTube. So it's Monday, or no, I don't think it is Monday. Maybe it's Monday. I don't know what day it is. It's Monday, Tuesday. Sorry about that. Anyway, I started putting up the siding, and it's looking pretty nice. This white pine, I've always liked white pine, even furniture. I've made a lot of white pine furniture, and even though it's light and it's not a fancy wood, I just like the looks of it. Very nice. I put up as high as I can reach in those two places. I didn't get a chance to start real early this morning on it because I was had an appointment, so it was sort of busy. But it's looking good. It's just something about white pine. I don't know what it is. I really like it. So that's where I'm at so far. A little hint on this siding. I took notice that the pieces of siding that I cut sort of thin, less than 1/4 of an inch on one, on the narrow end, on the thin end. What happens when you nail them up there is they become like springy. So they nail in good, and nothing has split yet. I'm using roofing nails to put it up, by the way. No drilling, no pre-drilling. Nothing has split. However, I noticed that if it's real thin, thinner than 1/4 of an inch on the narrow edge, on the thin edge, it will bend. And when it bends, the siding that's touching the other siding at the bottom actually comes away slightly. Now, this is a shed, it's not a big deal. If this was a house, I would want the siding more thicker. Make sure you have a full 1/4 inch thickness on one end, you know, on the narrow end, and then the other end, whatever it is, will be fine. But yeah, it's looking good. I really like the looks of that. So it's working fine. The only thing I say is, you know, don't go scrimping on it. I know when you're cutting by hand and you're not using something automatic to set the cuts, you tend to want to do different things, and you shouldn't. Just stick with, you know, what you have in mind, the thickness of the wood as you cut it, and you should be in good shape. Now that's a 5-inch reveal there, so in other words 5 inch of the board is showing, and it ends up where it's about 1 inch and I think 3/16 or so thick at the middle of it. It's very strong. When you push, like in between the studs, if you push in on that, it feels very strong. If I didn't know better, I'd almost say that there would be sheathing behind it, but there's not. And the boards are nice and strong. There's plenty of strength there for this. So I wouldn't really worry too much about that. I would, you know, if I was building more sheds, or if you're building any sheds or anything, or, you know, something that you want to close in better, why, I don't think there's anything wrong with this stuff. I think that if I was going to do this for a house or something that I wanted more permanent, and I don't consider this really permanent for me, because I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the sawmill, but I think what I would do is I would make the siding slightly thicker, and I would put sheathing up behind it. Doesn't matter if you use 1x12 on an angle or whatever, just put sheathing, some kind of sheathing, either plywood or, you know, you could nail 1x12, it's not going to hurt it. And then I would put at the minimum felt paper underneath that, okay, to keep any moisture that might get through it away. But with this being wet wood, and by God it is wet, it's green, there's no doubt about it, probably the best thing you could do is to not put anything behind it and leave it dry from both sides. I'm going to leave it dry probably till next spring, and then I'll think about staining it once it's shrunk or whatever it's going to do. There's no face nailing on it. I think there's one board here that I had to throw a face nail in because it was a little thin and it didn't want to pull against nice. But also, let me just show you something here. If you look, you see where that's like, you see that like fuzzy stuff on there? Now I missed that one, but what I found out is if you take a utility knife, don't cut anything, just run it across there, perpendicular to the board. It cuts that right off of there. You don't even, and a block plane does not work on that because it's too wet. So just rub your knife back and forth and it takes it right off. So, you know, it leaves you with a nice rough cut look. So anyway, you see how easily that came off there. I'm thinking about putting a door in here. I wasn't going to put anything there. I was going to leave it go. But a buddy of mine gave me a door, and I don't know, I might put it on there just for the heck of it. I was going to just leave it open, but if I close it in this way, any blowing snow or whatever won't go in there. So I guess I'll put a door on there. So I have to frame that out for a 36-inch door. Yeah, a couple, maybe 3 2x4s, and that ought to fix that. But anyway, that's where I'm at so far, and I thought you might like to see this. Because, you know, just 3 days ago, that was a log, or a tree actually, standing in the woods. Now, I've seen a lot of videos where they say, you know, and I don't look at the videos to find out how to do something. I look at the videos to find out about the outcome. And I've hung a lot of redwood siding, and redwood doesn't seem to shrink that much, especially when you buy all heart siding. It's very nice stuff. Now, I'm interested in seeing just how much this pine separates and stuff and shrinks. And I'll show you, like you can see that the cuts there are very close. They're either touching or about 1/8 of an inch away, that top one is. Let's look at this side here. You can see the top one here, where it's 1/8 away there, it's tight against. There's 1/8. And when you go to caulk that, I was going to make this so that it would overlap like a J. I was going to overlap this like a J channel, but it was just getting to be too much trouble. So I decided not to do that. I'm going to do it the old way they've done it for years, and I'll just caulk those edges. And I'll see what happens and how long it takes to, you know, keep them that way, and whether the caulking is going to get screwed up or not. But I think that lengthwise it's not going to shrink that much. And if it shrinks 1/2 of an inch altogether, 1/4 on each end, I could still be able to caulk that good. And I don't think it's going to. So I'm going to just leave it the way it is for now and then see what happens. I also think that probably a good way of putting this on, if you're going to put it on something that you are more permanent, if nothing else, I would put on the sides here, I would wrap the corners in felt paper, you know, tar paper, or some waterproof membrane on the corners. I think that would help keep any moisture out of there. But other than that, and I'll show you what the inside there looks like. Let me take the camera off this part here. Yeah, the inside came pretty nice. Now when you look down the siding, you can see it's pretty tight together there. Here's a spot here. Yeah, you can see a little bit of opening there. You see that? That's where the siding was cut too thin. Okay, I was getting a little cheap, and I guess I was too thin with the blade. But when you have it like this, like 1/4 of an inch, a full quarter, or even slightly more, you get a really nice looking board there. So, and the only other thing I did was, like, I had 1 2x4 here, and really on the end of a wall you should have 2 2x4s. I didn't put it on because these are full 2x4s. But what I did do was I nailed another one this direction. So I had a little bit more nailing, because you don't really want to nail the siding. You don't want to nail the siding if you can help it right next to the end. You want to try and stay over here a little, and with that 2x4 running this way, that keeps me 3 inches away. You know, even though the nail's underneath there, it keeps me 3 inches away from the end, which also helps for it to not split. And just for the heck of it, I put a couple pieces there. You can see, 3rd row down, there's a cut piece. Then over further, there's another cut piece. Just wanted to see what it would look like to put it in there. Again, it's not my house, although it's nice enough to be on a house. And the other thing I think you should do is, I think it should be totally stained ahead of time. I don't think it should be stained after the fact. Now if you were going to put some kind of you know, wood preservative on it and spray it on after a fact, after a while, then fine. But I think this stuff should be sprayed with some kind of stain or rolled stain before it's nailed up. Give it a chance to dry, the stain to dry, and then go from there. But anyway, that's what she's looking like so far. I'm about halfway up there, or a little more. And like I say, I guess I'll put a door in here. I didn't want to. I'm getting too tired for all this different stuff, but anyway, I'll probably put a door in there. But I'm liking the way it looks, and I hope you like it as well. And if nothing else, you can see that the Woodmizer can get you from tree to building in a matter of days. So, alright guys. Oh, I also recommend you use a miter saw to cut with. I mean, my favorite is a Makita circular saw. I had a bunch of these. I just bought this one new because the one I had a little bit of a bent table on it from all the years of using it. But even though I can cut pretty good, I still recommend a miter saw for these edges, because sometimes the boards aren't what they ought to be, and this way here you get a much wider rest than you would on it with a small square. But other than that, that's about you know, where I figure you should be. Thanks a lot guys for watching my videos. My channel's getting a little bit bigger. I'm glad to see that, and I'm glad I'm helping people, and I hope you know, I'm just doing this for the enjoyment of doing it. I like sharing with guys. I live out in the middle of nowhere. There's not a whole lot of people to talk to, and being able to comment to you guys is a pleasure, and also hearing your comments. Some of them are funny, some of them are, you know, really good for thought, and I just enjoy it. So thanks a lot. Have a good one. Bye.